It was a night meant to be a celebration that turned into an international incident.
Pete Rose gambling denial. When it comes to the world of sports, the conflict of interest that arises from betting on games your own team is competing in is no joke.
Rose is facing the greatest challenge of his storied career. Reports that the baseball commissioner's office is investigating serious allegations, which sources say focus on Rose's gambling activity.
In fact, doing so can bring your entire career's work into question. For Pete Rose, who spent years denying any participation in gambling, the revelation that he had been lying was devastating.
When I first reacted to the situation, I kind of listened to my lawyers tell me what to do. Because here I am in my 40s, I got a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and all of a sudden I'm out of a job.
In fact, Rose had been betting on Cincinnati Reds games, possibly against their success, all the while serving as their manager. In 2004, when he finally admitted that he was lying, he tried to claim that his gambling never affected managerial decisions, but the damage was done. He lost his eligibility for Hall of Fame consideration, and it pretty much ruined his reputation.
The only way I can make my peace with baseball is taking this negative somehow and making it into positive.
Tonya Harding denial of involvement in Kerrigan attack. Tonya Harding was best known as the first ever American female figure skater to land a triple axel in competition.
The first time an American, only Midori Ito has completed a triple axel in competition. Oh, how nice! How terrific!
Or at least that was her greatest claim to fame before the attack on her rival, Nancy Kerrigan. Kerrigan had been assaulted during her preparations for an upcoming competition, leading to an injury to her knee.
The attack plunged Kerrigan's Olympic dreams into doubt and focused suspicion on rival skater Tonya Harding.
Tonya's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, was found to have orchestrated the attack to help Tonya's career. Eventually, it became clear that Harding knew more than she was letting on. And eventually, for her role in covering up the scandal, she received a lifetime ban from figure skating.
But as has happened too often in Tonya's life, the choice may not be hers to make.
Ryan Braun's PED scandal. Ryan Braun managed to serve up a bona fide miracle when he became the first MLB player to ever successfully appeal a PED suspension in 2012. However, he decided to go on the offensive after that, brazenly claiming that he, and we quote,
"I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point."
As it turned out, he was actually very guilty. Further, when he later tested positive for testosterone, there was no escaping justice.
I'm not really, going to get into too many specifics. I wish that I hadn't done the press conference. It was a big mistake.
The problem here was Braun literally called several people's character into question while maintaining his own innocence. In the end, he accepted a 65-game ban and came out of it all looking like the villain.
I think there's something positive that can come from everything. I think, at all times, I always try to see the good in everything. Things aren't always good, but I do see the good in everything, and it's an opportunity for me to use my experience and mistakes that I've made to help other people avoid making the same mistakes.
Manti Te'o hoax girlfriend. College football star Manti Te'o is the victim of a catfishing hoax where a man named Renaya Tuiasosopo engaged in a multi-year online relationship with him.
He was the star player whose heartbreaking loss of his girlfriend just before a big game made national headlines and made Manti Te'o the individual story of the college football season.
Te'o thought he was genuinely talking to a woman named Lene Kukua, but lied to his friends and family about the fact that they had never met. Upon being notified of her supposed death from leukemia, he grieved and mentioned her to the press.
And according to the sports website Deadspin, which broke the story, Lene Kukua was a hoax. And the picture we all saw of her was actually another woman who was very much alive and says she doesn't even know Te'o.
But he still never admitted that he hadn't met her personally. Sure, it's the smaller lie of the two, but people became skeptical and began to suspect that Te'o was complicit, and the whole thing was a scam to draw sympathy and attention. Call him naive if you wish, but this whole thing was truly unfortunate.
But I never in a million years would have thought that story would inspire people all across the world, would change the narrative.
Barry Bonds, steroid denial. We could have very easily gone for Mark McGwire here, but for our money, watching Barry Bonds lie through his teeth was truly the ultimate betrayal of fan trust.
And Barry Bonds rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
After being accused of PED use, Bonds evaded telling the truth like a pro, eventually whittling down his excuses to plain ignorance.
You made this decision. You went for the greed, you went for the money, you went for the fame.
He claimed that he had no idea what anyone was giving him. And though he never did get convicted of perjury, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone defending him these days. As the all-time leader in MLB home runs, it's a terrible shame that Bonds' legacy has been called into dispute like this.
You chose the money, and now you want your reputation back, and you can't have both.
Number 5, Marion Jones Balco lies. Marion Jones certainly wouldn't be the first athlete to lie under oath, but her fall from grace was definitely among the most shocking.
But from her greatest successes came a doping scandal that ended her competitive career.
After stunning the world with 5 medals at the 2000 Olympics, Jones was on top of her game. But in 2007, she admitted that she had lied to federal agents about her involvement with the infamous Balco doping scandal.
I want to ask for your forgiveness for my actions, and I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me.
On top of that, it emerged that she had also been using PEDs during her career, leading to a 6-month prison sentence for perjury. Jones was stripped of her medals, and her reputation to this day remains in tatters.
But knowing that it didn't need to happen the way that it did always will stick with me as a moment that is hard.
Alex Rodriguez, steroid denial. Most steroid users aren't going to flat out admit that they're lying without some serious pressure being applied first.
For the record, have you ever used steroids, human growth hormone, or any other performance-enhancing substance?
No.
Have you ever been tempted to use any of those things?
No.
But for the MLB superstar Alex Rodriguez, he played the victim for just about as long as he could. Eventually, he was forced into a partial confession, admitting that he had used some PEDs earlier in his career. But once he budged on that, people immediately lost all trust.
Again, at the time of that culture, there was no illegal or legal.
He tried to apologize for his actions, but it was pretty obvious that he was only sorry because he got caught. He ended up getting suspended for the entire 2014 season, and his reputation took a hit that it would never bounce back from.
Alex Rodriguez fighting for his baseball life. An independent arbitrator slapping him with a 162-game ban for violating the league's drug policy and for allegedly interfering with the biogenesis investigation.
Ryan Lochte fabricated robbery, aka Lochtegate. This one falls firmly into the category of stories you need to hear to fully believe.
He took our money, he took my wallet, and then... But he left your cell phone, he left your credential. He left my cell phone, he left my credential, but he took my wallet and he took all the guys' cash.
Swimmer Ryan Lochte was in Brazil representing the United States at the Rio Olympics when the unthinkable happened. Lochte and 3 of his teammates were robbed at gunpoint by thugs disguised as policemen. However, this, as it turned out, was not what happened at all.
The thing that I told that wasn't true was having the gun pointed to my forehead and cocked. That was over-exaggerated.
The so-called robbers were actually security guards at a gas station that caught Lochte and co. urinating publicly and vandalizing a framed poster. This revelation went down about as poorly as you might think, with Lochte and the 3 others being made to pay a fine and apologize publicly.
I'm human. I made a mistake, and that's something that I'm going to have to live with.
Tiger Woods' perfect family deception. Tiger Woods was truly one of the defining athletes of his generation, a competitor who dominated the competition to a degree that had rarely been seen before.
Tiger Woods picked up 8 wins in '99, 9 in 2000.
#1 player in the world by a wide margin.
For years, he cultivated a clean image as a mild-mannered family man. But in 2009, his carefully crafted facade fell apart in the most dramatic way imaginable. Reports of multiple extramarital affairs shattered our perception of Tiger, destroying his reputation in one fell swoop.
I owe a lot of people an apology. I hurt a lot of people, not just my wife, my friends, my colleagues, the public, kids who looked up to me. There were a lot of people that thought I was a different person.
To make matters worse, persistent injuries also helped in derailing his golfing success. It was a saga that will always define him to some degree, even though his unbelievable 2019 Masters comeback certainly deserves to be mentioned.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
Lance Armstrong doping denials. Lance Armstrong is undoubtedly the most famous cyclist to ever live, and the work he has done for charity cannot and should not be understated.
Before the Lance Armstrong Foundation, what it was like to have cancer was totally different. It was much more private and much more isolated.
Lance removed the stigma of being a young adult with cancer.
But to see the face of cycling tied to the most famous steroid scandal of all time was as disappointing as can be. Not to mention the fact that Armstrong routinely denied all PED use and attacked the character of anyone who made such accusations.
We did what we had to do to win.
When the chickens finally came home to roost in 2013, the fallout was devastating. Not only was Armstrong revealed to be a competitive cheat, but also a barefaced liar who had deceived millions of people while earning a small fortune at the same time. There was no coming back from this one.
But I wouldn't change a thing. I've said that 3 times, and I'll say it again. I would not change a thing.
But which crazy athlete's lie sticks out in your memory the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.
I did take a banned substance, and for that, I'm very sorry and deeply regretful.